Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jennifer Etherton. I am the founder, notary public, and loan signing agent for Moonlight Mobile Notary here in Fishers, Indiana. I upload videos every Sunday, so if you enjoy this content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are alerted every time I upload a new video. And if you enjoy this content, hit that thumbs up button. It really does help the channel out. Last week, I went over the guaranteed way not to get a ticket from a flesh and blood police officer, and that was by not being pulled over. But what happens if you do get pulled over? More importantly, if you do get pulled over, how do you avoid a ticket or at the very least reduce the charges? Here in America, police officers do have a lot of latitude when it comes to certain charges, whether or not they write tickets, severity of the charges, and they dole out up to a point. I mean, there are some things that they will just arrest you for. But for the most part, when it comes to minor traffic violations, that they really do have a lot of choice. And one of my clients, he actually told me that at least in this area, you actually have to talk yourself into a ticket. You don't necessarily talk your way out of it. What I'm going to go over today are the 10 ways to either get out of a ticket altogether or at the very least get the lowest ticket possible, which can save you quite a bit of money in the long run. Going over these, there are going to be a few facts that are going to be considered known. There are caveats taking advantage of the fact that this is already taken care of, and that number one is you don't have a warrant. Now, there are some warrants that you will not be arrested for. You can just get a court date. I'm not a lawyer. I've never been to law school. I'm also not a police officer. I have never been one, so I'm not really sure what those levels are, but obviously if the warrant's bad enough, you're going to jail. Try to avoid having a warrant if possible. Number two, you're sober. Drunk driving is a big no-no. It ruins a lot of lives. Don't drink and drive. No one wins. Your vehicle is in good repair. A lot of times if you have a cracked tail light, a headlight's out, for the most part, as long as you're not a jerk, they're just going to tell you to fix it. Or you might get a fix-it ticket, which is basically you get it fixed. You go in, you prove that you fixed it, and everything gets dismissed and everything's hunky-dory. Just keep your car in good repair. You might avoid being pulled over in the first place. Next thing is that you don't have any illegal narcotics or open containers of alcohol. Without further ado, let's get into the 10 ways to avoid getting a ticket, or at the very least, getting those charges reduced. Now, these are in no particular order, but because they're a list, I'm going to be counting. 1 is to pull over in a reasonable amount of time. There are some situations where people feel safer if they pull over in a parking lot. That's perfectly fine as long as you're not driving for 30 minutes. Make sure it's reasonable and pull over into the safest area possible. If you're out on the country road, you're just gonna pull over right there. You're not gonna see anybody in hours. Sometimes there's a farm or there's a church nearby. Most farmers really don't care if you're getting pulled over and you pull into not deep into their driveway, but if you kind of just pull into their driveway, they might turn the outside light on just to see who's in their yard, but they're not going to bother you. Church parking lots, it's just an open area, and sometimes it increases the safety just to make sure that the person pulling you over is who they say they are. 9 times out of 10, person pulling you over is actually a police officer, but there are bad people in the world. If you're in more of a city setting and you want to pull over in a parking lot, just make sure it's the closest parking lot. Don't drive around for 45 minutes. But if you're pulling over on the side of the road, pull over as far as you can without getting stuck. It makes a safer little area for the officer to walk, and it's the little things in life. They'll appreciate it. Number 2, put your vehicle in park. Now, some people will suggest that you turn the engine off completely, and in some cases, especially during the day, that might not be a bad idea. But at night, your lights are on, you might have the heat or the air conditioner on. That'll drain your battery. So just use common sense. If it doesn't make sense to turn your vehicle off, don't. At the same time, definitely put it in park. It's just common courtesy. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just the little things. It's going to make the officer more comfortable, and that's always a good thing. Number 3, turn your dome light on. At night, turn your dome light on so the officer can see inside your vehicle. Right now, my vehicle is a mess, but at the same time, I turn my dome light on anyway, so he or she can see that no one else is there, or if they are there, they know what they're dealing with. It's just the little things that's going to make things a lot more comfortable, a lot more chill, and you, in this situation, you definitely want things as chill as humanly possible. So number 4, keep your hands in sight. The hands can hurt you. There are some who say keep your hands on the wheel, and that's perfectly fine. I forget, but I always keep my hands in sight. I don't dig for anything. I don't start fidgeting. Usually my hands are just in my lap. As long as they can see it, it's fine. They'll appreciate it. Number 5 is to turn it off. Turn off the radio. Don't answer the phone. Don't pay attention to your text. This person is pulling you over and they need your undivided attention. Don't have the radio blaring. Doesn't help with communication. It's also incredibly rude. Don't start calling people. Again, it's incredibly rude. You wouldn't want someone doing it to you. Don't do it to someone else. And remember, that officer is a person. They can get offended just like you can. Keep everything respectful and just use common courtesy. Number 6, roll the windows down. I don't care what some pseudo lawyer told you. It is incredibly rude to have to talk to somebody through a crack that big. Don't do it. Be respectful. Roll the window all the way down and talk to the individual like they're a human being. Be nice. If you're going to roll your window down for a drive-through, roll the window down for the officer. Number 7 ties into this. Manners matter. Don't be a jerk. Don't talk yourself into a ticket. Social etiquette demands treating someone with the same respect you want to be treated with. So number 8 ties into that. Don't lie. Cops get lied to all the time, and their BS meter probably is going off before you form the thought. Don't insult anybody's intelligence. If you did something and you don't want to admit it, don't lie about it. There are ways you can form an answer that are polite, respectful, and don't admit to anything at the same time. If you feel like admitting to something small, go ahead. But again, just don't lie about it. For fellow Live PD fans, they are your pants. And they're probably your socks too. Number 9, just hang out. Once the officer gets your information, your license, your registration, your car insurance, just hang out. Don't clean out your purse. Don't start rummaging around. Just sit there. Yeah, you might be able to turn on some music and just chill out while they're doing what they do. It's not going to take long. I mean, anytime I've ever been pulled over, it's taken 5 minutes, if that. Number 10, stop arguing. Don't argue. There is a time and a place for everything. If you don't think that you deserve a ticket, or you don't think the officer is telling the truth, take the ticket, go to court, and that's where you fight it. Remember, you want to be forgettable. You want to be boring. When you walk into that courtroom after you have that ticket, even though you think it's complete BS, the first thing that's going to happen is the prosecutor is going to ask that officer if there are any tickets that they've had a problem with. You don't want him or her to remember you even exist. Trust me, it will go a lot easier on you. Be forgettable. Don't argue. A lot of times, you're not even going to get a ticket. I've gone over 10 tips to either avoid getting a ticket or to reduce the charges. Now, here are some bonus tips. And these really are more individualized, except for the first one. Always carry your driver's license. It is a privilege, not a right in the United States to be able to drive a vehicle. Have your license on you. It's kind of confusing to me why people don't carry their ID. 2, under no circumstances, for any reason, should you run from the police. Don't run. You will be caught. The thing is, you might be able to outrun the person behind you. You might also be able to outrun the 3 or 4 cops coming to help him or her out. You are never going to outrun a radio. Don't run. Deal with whatever is going to be tossed at you. It will be a lot easier in the long run. Number 4, if you need to dig for something, ask. I'm a woman. I carry a purse. My janky fossil purse, but I love it. It doesn't matter what it is. If I want it, it is in the very bottom of this black hole. So what do I do when I have to dig for something? I just let the officer I need to dig for it. Tell them the truth. It's in the bottom. Especially if it's a female officer and you show her your purse, she is going to commiserate with how things just fall to the bottom for no apparent reason. So if you have to dig and you have to look for something, just ask. For men, obviously, if you have your wallet in your back pocket, just let them know. I got to get my my wallet out of my back pocket. They're not going to have any issues with that. And if they do, they'll give you further instructions. Just follow directions. Number 4, this is important because, it's America. But if you are driving with firearms, definitely always let the officer know. Different jurisdictions have different laws when it comes to concealing carries or constitutional carry, open carry, whatever you want to call it. Know the rules, follow the rules, be a responsible gun owner. Those are tools, not toys, and they can be very dangerous. Just tell the officer and then follow directions. You have just told an officer you have a tool that can hurt them. Do not start digging for it when they tell you not to. Things could go very wrong very fast. For the most part, if you tell an officer you have a gun or a knife within arm's reach or in the vehicle, he or she may or may not tell you to get out of the vehicle. Sometimes they will, probably a lot of times they will, but just follow directions, be calm, don't escalate the situation, and things are going to go fine. If you are carrying legally, you're not going to get in trouble for it. They're just going to, follow their procedures, and they're going to make sure everything is safe. So in conclusion, remember, getting pulled over isn't the end of the world. It can sometimes be stressful, but just remember, that officer is a human being. He or she, for the most part, is just trying to get through their day and do their job to the best of their ability. They want to go home, they've got bills, they've got families, and they go through the same BS that you or I do. And just remember, behind the badge is a human being. I want to tell you why these tips are so important and how you don't have to be perfect. So officers are human beings and they understand you're a human being. So if you don't follow each and every one of these tips, you can still probably get out of having a ticket. I got pulled over just down the road from where I live. I wasn't paying attention. I had new tires. I was doing 60 and a 45. Officer pulled me over. I got busted. So I didn't do my first cardinal rule. Well, I did do my first cardinal rule. I put the car in park. But I am 5'4" and I have the shortest arms known to man for a 5'4" female. So I was laid all the way across my seat trying to get to my registration. Cop walked up to the window and I honestly think he was trying to hide his laughter because I think he thought it was pretty comical. I'm a grown woman and I'm laying across the street trying to get, reach my registration. But I go through, and because I throw nothing away, I had to find the right registration. Couldn't bring my insurance up on my phone fast enough. I felt terrible. And then I had a brand new wallet. I couldn't get my driver's license out of my wallet. I actually had to ask him to help me get it out of my wallet. And there for a minute I thought he was going to have to cut it open. It was a comedy of errors. I didn't get a ticket. Why didn't I get a ticket? Well, probably one, because he was laughing at me and thought this whole situation was absolutely ridiculous and hilarious. But two, I was also nice. I wasn't jerky. I apologized for taking longer than necessary to do something. I also just didn't argue with him. I know I was busted. There was no sense to pretend. And again, he probably just thought I was hilarious and just having a bad day. He let me go. I was probably kind of rememberable. He probably would remember me if I got a ticket and had to go to court, just because of the comedy of errors. However, I was being nice. I used the golden rule. I treated him with the same respect I would want to be treated. And I did not talk myself into a ticket. I didn't talk myself out of one, but I didn't talk myself into one. So even if you have a comedy of errors, as long as you remember that manners matter, throw your car in park, let him know where your hands are, and just be nice. Things are going to go a lot better for you. That's it. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Again, I am Jennifer Etherton with Moonlight Mobile Notary here in Fishers, Indiana. If you like this content, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.